The Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority is expressing grave concern about the drop in traffic at the various ports in the country. According to a letter intercepted by JoyNews, the phenomenon started in June of last year as has persisted till date. With government cash trapped, the state is unable to afford any drop in revenue, especially at the ports. It has been inviting key stakeholders at the ports for a meeting to address these concerns. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me via Zoom with details of this letter. Kweku, when is this letter addressed? When is the letter addressed and to whom, and what does it say? What date is it?
So this letter we've intercepted is dated 27th of March 2023. It is signed by Michael Luguje, the Director General of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. It's addressed to some very key stakeholders within the port industry, the Association of Ghana Industries, the Chamber of Commerce, the Imports and Exporters Association, and a host of other key stakeholders to come around the table. But let me read the content. It says that we have observed a general decline in port traffic in recent times. The phenomenon, according to our data, started in June, July 2022 and has been continuing through the end of the first quarter of 2023 without any sign of improvement. As a major stakeholder in the maritime industry, you are kindly invited to a meeting to discuss this important subject. And this meeting was expected to happen Thursday, 30th March 2023 at 2 p.m. at Gapoa Towers, the boardroom. And these are the details where these specific persons were now being invited by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to discuss ways of increasing traffic at the port. We know government needs a lot of money now, and port serves as one of the key sources of revenue for the government. And with that decline in traffic, it is expected that government revenue will slow down a little.
Also by the Executive Secretary of the Association of Importers and Exporters, Samson Asake Awingobit. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I'm sure you were copied in this letter. Has that meeting happened?
Yes. My outfit was copied, yes.
You were copied. Has the meeting happened?
Yes. It was, I think, last week, Thursday. Yeah.
The meeting happened last week, Thursday?
Yes, we had the meeting.
What was the outcome of that meeting? In fact, what really did you discuss in that meeting? Well,
good morning to your cherished viewers, and I hope you're doing well in the Ramadan period.
Inshallah.
We hope that Allah will take you through 30 days fasting and prayers period. I was unable, and I'm not easy at discussing a letter that purported to have come from our stakeholder, which is the Ghana Port and Harbour Authority, inviting we, the key stakeholder, to discuss about the drop, the sharp drop in terms of traffic at the port, because they've trusted us, and that's why they've invited us. I think many media houses have called me to discuss this, and I said, why wouldn't they reach out to Ghana Port and Harbour Authority? But at another leg, I said, okay, well, it's not my outfit, it's not Import Export Association who put this letter out, and I can vow to that because I did not put this letter out, and I don't know how the media was able to get, because there was no media house was copied, but I don't know how they are able to get this intercepted letter. But it's a public place, of course. Anything can happen. This is probably not the first time a letter is leaked in this country. The issue is that it is true. It is such a bad situation. Just like your reporter said, the figures are not all that good. I think in our meeting, we were made to, if I can get some figures, we were made to understand that last year, 2021, they did 1.5 million TU, and 2022, they did 1.2 million TU, 1.51 million TU on last 2021, and 2022, it dropped to 1.2. And if you look at total containerized, total cargo, both clinker, liner cargo, whatever, plus containerized cargo, the volume has dropped to 1.2 million metric tons. So what it means is that it will affect GPHA its own internal generated revenue. Hence, perhaps if they have obligations to pay their debtors or their staff, and also take expenses in terms of maintaining their equipment and retooling, buying new equipment to come to boost the operations of the port, of course, it's going to affect their revenue, because if more cargo is not coming, they take handling charges. That's where they have a living. So it means that if more vessels are not calling to the port, no more cargo is coming, that means it's going to affect them. The other aspect is that it's going to affect the revenue as a country, because before GRA comes out with their targets for the year, the GRA is made up of two divisions, the domestic division and the custom division. The custom division is in charge of duties and taxes, the international trade, and then the domestic is in charge of your salary, your income tax, and then your corporate institution as a corporate institution of multimedia group. At the end of the month, you pay corporate tax to the state. So what it means that most at times they don't get much from the domestic. Much comes from the import. So anytime Tema Harbour, especially Tema Harbour, if Tema Harbour revenue drop, then clearly GRA will not meet its own target. So largely, the influencer factor that makes total drop of cargo in the port is as a result of inflation due to exchange rate last year and the total reversal of the benchmark values that the government reversed. Remember, the government took away 20% and promised us that they were going to set up an ad hoc committee to deal with the issues before they would take off. And we're discussing around the clock as to whether would they give us a flat rate fixed at the port. So maybe 3 months or 6 months subject to review. But before we see Jack, October, November last year, they said they are just reversing it without even recourse to any consultation. So that alone, where before the total reversal of the benchmark values, we can take this Uber cars, where an Uber car Twitter Vic used to be paid like say 15,000 Ghana cedis or 17,000 Ghana to clear at the port, suddenly shoot out like 40,000 or more. Then if those who bring in Toronto cooking oil or this consumer product, where before the reversal of the benchmark value, where they used to pay like 80,000 or 70,000 to clear a container, now you have to pay over 150, 160 to 200,000. And as I speak with you now, people are paying over 270,000 to get to clear one container at the port. So that has caused fear and panic, and that has made our port become very expensive, coupled with the shipping lines local handling charges as well, madam. So these are all the factors that is making importers not. And so if you look at 2022, around July, August, September, you realize that the cedi depreciation went very badly. So it affected people who had matured to pay their suppliers. And now they had bargained with their suppliers to say, okay, in my country, I will pay before July, August, I will pay my LC will mature, letter of credit will mature. The payment would have, I was earmarking myself to say maybe cedi would have rose to, let's say, 8 cedis to $1 or 10 cedis. Now, little do we know that the cedi would get went to like 14.5%. So it affected many people. So beginning of this year, January, February, March this year, many people have not even brought any cargo to this country. And the fuel that brought the cargo to, we've seen the duty shot up. And so there's fears. What is happening is that there's cargo in the goods in the market, but you and I cannot ascertain as to where the goods are coming from. These goods, we said cargo, from where I said, we told Gapor that the cargo has moved to Togo and Ivory Coast. They too said that when they cross-checked with Togo port, they realized that there's no any increase in cargo saying that I've cleared a container at Lomé port and bringing it to Ghana. They're not indicating in their books. However, what we saw is that many people have gone there to put up warehousing. So they will clear the cargo there, they'll go and stock it in their warehouse. So by Togo books, it's goods meant to consume in Togo. Then they now find ways and means to bring those goods into the country.
Ghana.
So what is happening is that government will not get the needed taxes at the port. You can only get income tax, VAT. So what it means is that it will affect the final analysis of government revenue. So today, as we speak, I think February, I had the Commissioner of Customs, the Commissioner General of Ghana Revenue Authority on your platform saying that looking at the figure he saw between January and February, he's optimistic that by the end of this year, GRA would meet its target. I beg to differ. The figure that he used to do that analysis, probably for me, it is December figures that people could not pay. So they are counting December revenue into January and February. If they want, go back and ask GRA. They should give a real revenue that they collect, they raise from January and February. You will not see anything because there's no increase of cargo in the port. So perhaps if there's any revenue increase, if there's any sudden revenue increase, then because in December, because of the push, the benchmark value of so duty shot up.
Okay.
So probably they've closed the 31st December. The cargo people were still clearing cargo, people were still paying duty. That's what we've seen. But it doesn't mean that there's any increase in cargo at the port. So definitely it's going to affect, coupled with this 3%, 3 bill that the government, and before even then, before the benchmark value reversal or after the benchmark total reversal, there is this 2.5% VAT too.
Okay.
In the 2020, which was approved or who was passed in the 2023 budget.
Yeah.
It has been implemented in January. So that too have led up to a cost of doing businesses in our port. And so, while there's a drop in cargo, there's no way government would make the needed revenue that the Commissioner General was talking about.
And this would also affect your businesses. I mean, those of you who import.
Yes, it's affecting the cost of doing businesses. It's also going to affect, if at the end of the day, someone who used to bring 10 containers in a month has suddenly dropped to, let's say, 5 or 2, or even someone has not even, from January to now, someone has not even brought 1 container. It's going to affect all of us, not only the importer. It's also going to affect consumers as well, because the few goods that is in the system, if you are a business person, you look, because there will be shortage. If this is how it's going to continue, the trend is going to continue, then there's going to be shortage in July, in June, July, August. Then people can just lock their goods, and when that time comes, they will increase the prices and they'll make more money.
What's the way forward, Mr. Awingobit?
Well, now that we are complaining about, you see, we said 2% special levy, import levies at the port is supposed to go off in the books. It's still there. Yeah. The 2.5 VAT that they've increased VAT cost, making it 15%, has brought a cost to us. We were thinking that at least the government would have hold on to that. Now that they've even succeeded in implementing it, then this 3 bill that has been passed by Parliament, coming to increase the cost of doing businesses to all of us. Suddenly, people thought it's only the importers. It's not only the importers. What people have not taken the time or the pain to read through to understand what this tax is going to affect. Let me give you those that these taxes are going to affect. Now, if you are going to drink a bottle of water now, assuming the president signed this into bill now, and BRD is implementing, if you are going to drink water, madam, water is normally depending on which location you find yourself. Yeah. So you can buy 5 series or 3 series or 2 series, 50 pesos. Now, with this percentage, 20% increment, is going to cost you no less than 6 series or 4 series or 5 series to buy a bottle of water.
Depending on where you buy it.
Can cook, come on, now that you're doing fasting or our brothers and sisters are doing fasting, at the end of the day, they may need canned coke or malt or fruit juice, multi-fruited juice or fruit to get to drink. Now, this VAT are all going to affect. It's going to affect both, this excise duty is going to affect both import and manufacturing. Yeah. It's not only the importers alone, those who are also producing in Ghana here. So the point is, we are asking government that if you say you are moving from taxation to production, and now you are bringing these taxes on the people, on the manufacturers. Well, a coffee juice is under 1 district 1 factor. Are they going to be exempted? I didn't see anywhere they say that they are going to exempt them. So
it will affect everyone.
Then aside that one, there's 2.5% for other businesses. The other businesses include your media houses, include the one who's selling the sofa container shop here, including the one who have a container sitting there and you go and buy a ideal milk to come and do tea this morning. It also compares those who are at Makola and other things. So that is going to be a cost. Again, the banks, the 5% profit before tax is also going to affect business people, especially importers. Because these are the people who keep on doing transfers to pay their suppliers, keep on doing transfers to pay, if it's a manufacturer. There are some manufacturers you can't carry fiscal cash to go and give them. You have to pay, transfer money to pay them. So the banks will also come on with another charges on you. Then the shipping lines. This country, my dear, we've been talking about one of the cardinal point that is making our port very expensive. Not about Ghana Port and Harbour Authority. When they say port, people thought it's Ghana Port and Harbour Authority. But the shipping line, my dear, let's say Asake is bringing 10 containers on 1 BL. 1 BL is a document that covers to say that I've actually given my containers to a shipping line to bring it. It got to Ghana here, I paid freight, not less than $12,000 or more to bring it to Ghana Port. Then they will say, come and pay, after I'm going to pay due to like say $270,000 to state. Then shipping line will tell them they have what we call a local handling charges. I have to pay 10,000, assuming the containers are 40 container. I have to pay 10,000 Ghana cedis. Even if they say 10,000 Ghana cedis just for the bill of lading alone, I won't say much. But they will say 10,000 times the number of containers on one document. So you have to pay 10,000 times 10 containers.
If you have 10
that is also making it very, very expensive on the business community. That will continue saying that who is regulating these shipping lines? Because these people now, when you go to Ivory Coast and Togo and other things, that's not the charge they're putting there. So this country, there's no law regulating. The Cyprus authority pretend to say they are authority, but they are nothing. There's no law there. Now that I heard that the transport minister is trying to go to parliament to get, because the last time, one of the members of parliament, the ranking member, threatened the transport minister in parliament that if next time 2024 budget comes and he doesn't come to amend the Ghana special law to make it more fashionable, more biting, then they will not support him to approve their budget. Maybe, I don't know how far that bill has gone through, that amendment has gone through. But I can tell you, where we sit now, the simple lines in this country is having their free range, free day in Ghana. There's no law. Nobody's regulating them. Whatever they decide to do, they get pass it on, even to the extent that at the time, I'm sure 2022, when we were hovering between 14.5 for $1, I'm sure they were even using, like, let's say, 20 series to $1. That's how they do their things. And nobody is questionable. I've gone to the Minister of Finance, I've raised it before the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance looked into my eyes and told me that he is not in charge of monetary policy. It is the Bank of Ghana. You go to the Bank of Ghana, they say they are not in charge of fiscal policy. Coupled with inflation,
the business
coupled with the prime rate, 29.5% at the Bank of Ghana now. Interest rate is killing us. So we can no longer, even this continental free trade that we are having right now in this country, the headquarters is sitting here, Ghanaians are not benefiting.
GUTA, AGI, Chamber of Commerce, I know they've all petitioned the president, especially on these new taxes, which they say would collapse their businesses. Are you going to do same?
Yes, I think if those your team that came to the press conference on was it on Tuesday? Yes, on Tuesday. I moderated. I was the MC for the program. The business community made up of my organization, Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce, the Federation of Ghanaian Labour, Abraham Kumson, you know, Mr. Abraham Kumson, the Food and Beverages Association, the Give Quebec, ACHAC,
and all of them.
All of them. And what happens is that it has never happened that you see the government introduce, not only this government, introduce a tax component, then you have all the institutions saying it's a non-starter. That is what is happening. So we are going to sign. We are yet to petition the president. I think this week, I've seen the final write-up last night. All of us are going to sign. Then we'll petition through the Minister of Trade. I think today or tomorrow we'll send the petition to the president, because we think that the Minister of Trade is our minister. He must intervene in this regard. So that petition, my signature will be there, and the rest of my colleagues' signature will be there. So we intend to convince His Excellency the President that, look, can we have a conversation? Because prior to your minister sending this bill to Parliament, there was any engagement. It has never happened that AGI is also saying that relation red flag. National Chamber of Commerce, you don't hear of this.
For AGI, they were consulted, but they say their input was not taken, and so they are agitated.
So what is the consultation for?
So let's see how it goes.
It should be a win-win situation.
Let's see how it goes when you petition the president, and we're hoping that something better will happen, because once businesses suffer, it will affect the consumers, because definitely you will shift the prices to us. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, that's what's going to happen. If the president, we hope the president will listen to us and will engage us. Other than that, if GRA issue the guidelines and it goes ahead to be implemented, definitely cost of doing business is going to be high. And
it will also make cost of living
It's going
difficult.
to be affect all. I'm also a consumer myself.
Thank you so much.
We also go to the same market.
Mr. Awingobit.
Thank you very much
for coming. Now.